Sports Shop with Reese and K-Mac on Buzz Sports Radio.
You gon' have to do more than just. You gon' have to do less for you. Tell mama you know I always want you to. You gon' have to do more than just. You gon' have to do less for you. Tell mama you know I. So you gon' need to do more.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Once again, we're about to have some fun.
That's right.
We go from one classroom to another. I told you, look, I'm on summer break. I told y'all about all this thinking.
That's something called summer school, kid, man.
You telling me?
Some of us got to go.
You telling me?
Oh, wow.
Look, I was in the first year round school.
But it was year round.
It was for me.
Wow.
I went to school year
some
round.
people year round all their life. That's a good point. I had thought about
I went to the first year round school. It wasn't that new with me when they started. I said, I thought everybody did that. I said, no, some people went to visit in the summer.
That's funny, man.
You went to practice and went back to school.
Incredible.
But welcome back to the Sports Shot. The Sports Shot. Reese came back. We having ourselves a good time as we always do. I promised you guys something very special when we came back, and now we have joining us in studio APlus Test Prep, and we are going to get into what is APlus Test Prep. What do you guys do? But then I'm going to lead in with a question right after you guys introduce yourself.
All right. Hi, I'm Vince Brown. This is my beautiful bride,
Sheba Brown.
and we are the owners of APlus Test Prep. And thank you all for having us
Thank
here
you,
this
man.
morning.
It's very
Appreciate
important.
it.
It's our pleasure. Reese just mentioned it. It is the summertime. We are talking about it the summertime. Some people in summer school. What should you be – so just thinking about academics, what should you be working on? What should you be doing? Is there anything that we should be doing, when it comes to preparing for some of these standardized tests, ACT? When do you start studying for some of these things? What should people be doing right now in the summertime?
Reading. On your way to the basketball court, stop by the library. On your way home from work, stop your kids by the library. On your way to camp or from camp, stop by the library.
Wow.
It is free. Reading is the undergirding piece of this whole thing.
Wow.
From birth to from cradle to the grave.
Yep,
Reading
exactly.
is the undergirding piece. What we're doing now, what your students are doing now in kindergarten, first grade, third grade, fifth grade, is going to be helpful to them when they pursue that law degree and try to get into law school.
Reading.
When they try to get certified as a nurse.
Reading.
Reading. It is the number one. Reading.
Wow.
Reading.
Man,
Reading.
I done made it all complicated. You done simplified it.
I know.
I done made it all complicated.
Your question was more complicated than the damn answer.
Like, what should I do? What should I do, teacher? Read.
Read. Just read. Read.
Wow.
And read what you like. Read what you're interested in. You come to our house. Vincent's shelves are full of motivational books by Coach K. I Came as a Shadow. Who was Georgetown? John Thompson.
wow.
Oh my God, his book is incredible. I read a lot of historical fiction. Our kids read a lot of sci-fi, futuristic kind of stuff. Everybody's reading something different, but everybody's reading. Right. Read what you like, what you're interested in. You're in fashion? Read fashion magazine.
Man, we rocking Vincent and Sheila Brown, owners of APlus. So what is it, though? What is APlus Test Prep? Talk about what it is.
Well, what we're a company that we help students become successful on standardized tests. So that could be any type of student, from elementary with EOGs or EOCs, moving up to high school students who are preparing for things like the SAT or the ACT or the ASVAB, or even when students are in college trying to go to professional school like the law school or graduate school or the medical school or veterinarian school, or even professionals who are trying to maybe become a CPA or get their real estate exam or their Series 7 exam. Wow. So any type of standardized, any type of standardized test. So one of the things that we see, which is so exciting, is that when we watch young students or high school age kids get the confidence to take a standardized test, oh my God, every career in the world now is opened up to them. Opened up to them. Wow.
Awesome. Well, that's a good segue to my question, to talk about one or two of your favorite, one from each, success stories.
Oh, my goodness.
Let me go first.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about a young man, Mr. Trey Murphy. He attended Cary Academy, which is not a big-time basketball program at all. It was a basketball player.
Is this Trey Murphy that I
Trey Murphy.
Okay.
Right. And he really worked hard. His parents put him in a class with us when he was a junior in high school. And Trey got an extremely great test score for a student athlete. And which opened up the door for him to go to Rice University, which Rice is just like Duke.
Yeah, it is.
And the coach told him, Trey, we like your basketball game, but we love your brain more. And then Trey went to Rice, and he did a great job there, which afforded him the opportunity to transfer to UVA. He went to UVA, did 1 year there, and he ended up being the 17th pick in the NBA draft.
And a straight baller, man, doing well.
One of the things that we really love about Trey, not only was he a great athlete and committed to his game, he also took his classwork very seriously. So that's really, really exciting. One of my favorite students of all time that we've worked with. How about you?
Wow, that's a great.
I'm gonna violate the rule and talk about three young women.
Okay.
Kayla Beasley, graduate of Hillside High School. She now works as a professional in sports. She graduated in sports management from NC State. Taylor McKinnon, who runs track right now for Vanderbilt University.
Wow.
Asia Macon, Southeast Raleigh High School graduate, graduated from North Carolina A&T where she ran track. We helped her get her scholarship. She went to Nebraska for her master's degree. She's now at NC State Veterinarian School. These young people, it's not just about what's going to happen in the next couple of years after high school. We're looking further down the road to say, we're going to give you some skills that are going to help you take your career to the next level, wherever that may be, wherever you want to take it.
Outstanding.
Man, that's unbelievable.
They take academics and sports seriously.
That's special, man.
They're real
Outstanding.
scholar
Shout out
athletes.
to you
I love
guys.
them.
That's special.
APlus Test Prep is joining us in studio today. You can find them at APlus higherscores.com, APlusHigherscores.com. And I'm telling you, once you really start to dig into it and figure out where this can take you, whether you're, an aspiring, continuing, I would say, educational student,
Sure.
or you're a high school student, or you're a middle school student, and just starting to prepare, because that's going to lead me to my next question that I have for both of you, is there is this convention, there's this myth, if you want to call it that, or not a myth, or urban legend, whatever you want to call it, that minorities are handicapped because of our inability to deal with standardized testing. Is this true, myth, legend? What is it?
Well, I would just say this. Prior to getting involved in this business, because growing up I wasn't a great test taker myself. Never in a million years I would imagine I would own an education company.
There you go.
Year-round students.
There you go.
I would have believed that. But once getting involved in this and really learning what these tests are really all about, these tests are biased against people who don't read outside of school.
Okay.
And most of the time, people who look like us, African Americans,
you don't read. Yeah, that's right.
boys do not read anything outside of school.
Facts.
I was kind of piggybacking on what you kind of said earlier about AAU tournaments.
Yes.
We would go set up our services at AAU tournaments, and you would think we were giving away COVID. People would look at us, oh my God, get away. No, I don't need that.
You should have had a line out the door.
Yeah.
You should have.
Right. And so, so it's just the reading aspect of it. And another big part now is we say is the way parents parent now is completely different than just the way we came up.
Right.
So it's our generation of parents that we don't know what in the world they are doing.
Because we didn't read it I say collectively, we didn't read it growing up either.
Everything was a lot different. Maybe we didn't read a whole lot, but I guarantee you read the sports section every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
The statistics and everything. So
Every
that
day.
is reading. And what you were reading, the spelling, the grammar, and the punctuation was all correct. So you were watching and reading good grammar and stuff and didn't even realize you were learning. But now with kids just reading text messages and social media
tweets.
from their friends and tweets with jacked up spelling, terrible grammar, you don't even know what punctuation is, and let their parents are letting them do that all day long.
Wow.
Not knowing the difference between the two, not knowing what you should be looking at. So, man,
it's just the basics. We've noticed, we've had a lot of kids and parents. We do a lot of free programming for parents because we believe in a village approach. And there's so many times we will have kids come into our office and parents love to brag about their GPA.
Okay.
And I'll say, hey, great, Mom. Love that kid got a great GPA. And I watch this, Mom. A standard question. What's 56 divided by 7? And people in here, you'll be amazed that 90% of students we work with that are in high school Cannot answer that question.
Don't know where to start.
Because now, at starting generally must be at kindergarten, kids are learning math with the calculator.
Yes.
Everybody in here could not get out
Is
of
that true?
third grade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Everybody in here could not get out of third grade without knowing your good old-fashioned times table that
table.
you had to say in front of
You
the
gotta
whole
say it.
classroom.
I know all my timetables.
Hey, look. And no matter how many I've had, I still know them.
I know that's right.
Right.
We are rocking and rolling, man, with a great conversation that's very appropriate. And first of all, I want to commend you guys on,
Thank you so much
on
for what
this
you do.
effort and this your company, because it's something that's much needed. And when you talk about success stories, it's interesting. I do want to pivot to something that's in the news right now with the Supreme Court, just with a decision they made with affirmative action.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how that play into what you guys do, but it has to be somewhat related.
No, you take it.
Okay. Well, I believe that affirmative action is going to be a boom for our business.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last couple of years, with test optional being a big thing.
What is that?
Test optional?
Test optional means that a student applying to universities do not have to submit their SAT or ACT score if they don't want to.
Oh, so I'm in.
So wait a minute, though. Wait a minute. So
Wait a minute.
hold on. Wait a minute. So that's interesting.
I'm
so
good.
If I got a
I'm
low
good.
SAT score, I just submit my essays. I
You
think I
know,
can
write
get in.
a
anyway.
good SAT score that came from AI. I'm good.
You got it.
You know, I'm good.
So here it is. I'm going to pick on my wife's university. She's a 2-time Carolina grad.
Right here. I went to grad school there too. So be careful.
I was going to say this.
That was better, but it's okay.
Prior to the pandemic, UNC was getting about 40,000 applications every year for about 5,000 spots at $85 a piece. All right. Now, once they start going test optional, you pull the calculator out.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Now
money.
they're getting about 55,000 applications still for 5,000 spots. So they're getting additional 15,000 applications at $85 a piece. Why would they give that money away and stop doing that?
Good point.
So now it's being more competitive to get into their schools. So now their admit rate is going to be lower, which now that increases their U.S. world rank, which now could open up the door for them to charge a little bit
more.
You got it.
Wow.
So you have to realize everything is kind of going to be around this thing called a dollar bill.
Interesting.
And the only reason a student would not submit their test scores, it meant their score was not well. And if you got a great GPA, why is your test score not well? We hear this all the time. Well, my child don't test well. Right. Well, every test at school is timed, and it's a test. If you know the rules of subject-verb agreement in Ms. Johnson's English class, why can't you demonstrate that on the SAT or the ACT? If you know grammar, or if you know algebra or geometry or trig, in your math class you're getting A's. Those rules do not change on test day. So now here's the question. Are you getting real grades in your classroom? Or is your teacher like you, or go to church with your parents, or you just the right parent, and you're getting the good scores?
Wow.
I guarantee you, everybody in here, probably the richest kid at our high school, was one of the top students too.
I mean, you know.
Well, that's true.
If you have a 4.0 GPA, you're taking tests at school and you're doing well on them.
Yeah.
So this is just another test. So at this point, when we talk about the impact of the Supreme Court decision and how that might impact our business, we're telling parents, you need to get your student more ready than ever. Whatever they say the minimum is, you need to be above and beyond that when they open up your application, so that there is no reason for them to say you are not qualified for a spot here. Do everything you can. Everything, including a great test score to supplement that GPA and that awesome resume that your student has to complete that application and make them a strong applicant. Do everything you can.
And we have to realize that a great test score in GPAs isn't everything. There are other pieces are tied around to it. Other pieces are tied. We tell real quickly about our youngest son. He went to Ravenscroft. He had like a 3.6 unweighted GPA. He had a perfect SAT math score. He had a 1430 out of 1,600 SAT score. He applied to 5 schools. He had 1 school recruiting him for basketball. That was MIT. April came. He was 0 for 5 with admissions. a black man, young black fella with a perfect SAT math score. But what he was missing was outside the classroom. And most families drop the ball on that. It's 6 pieces to your application. Test scores and GPA are just 2.
Wow.
One of the key things are what are you doing outside the classroom that represents 2 things.
And can you tell that story?
Yeah.
Demonstrated interest and leadership. In our day when we were coming up, you just played a sport, might have been in a band, in one club, worked at McDonald's, you were killing it. It's not like that anymore.
That's a great point.
Volunteer at church.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's everything. Yeah.
Good.
But nowadays,
Because you could always get the pastor to vouch for you and write the letter.
There you go.
Because that's my pastor.
Stop telling my secret.
But nowadays, these universities are looking for things in particular for what you're doing outside the classroom. What are you doing? They're saying you are a leader. Just like any business are going to want to hire leaders. Universities want leaders. So are you a captain of your team, or you doing something leadership at your church or in your community or at your job? And the other thing is called demonstrated interest. If your mouth say you want to be a nurse, what are you doing outside the classroom that says nurse? Are you a candy striper? Y'all remember that? And are you volunteering in your sick and shut-in ministry at your church? What are you doing outside the classroom to say that?
Man, outstanding. It is a pleasure having you guys join us today. APlus Test Prep. Look, I'm sure a lot of people got way more than they anticipated. So did I, and I am thoroughly excited to have these conversations.
Incredible.
We're gonna have another one soon, very, very soon,
keep it
because
going.
I really want to dig even more into how this affects, I would say, communities of color. What's the blueprint for us? I got it. I got to teach. We're gonna read.